right, we're back with another great episode of PFREI, a passion for real estate investments. I'm your host, Buquan Bilal, and today I have Mitch Stevens from taxfreefuture.com. We're actually going to talk about a couple of things. Mitch is really big on this tax-free future, so we're going to get some questions and some answers on that. But let's just jump right into it. Mitch has been a self-employed real estate investor for the past 20 years. His real estate investing career started at the age of 23 when he read Nothing Down by Robert Allen. That was a great book, Mitch. I read that book also. And I started my real estate investing career around the same age. Not the same year, but around the same age. So, basically, Mitch, together with his wife, is Tommy, right?
Yeah, Tommy, yeah.
And his daughter Sharon purchased their fair share of local houses. Their company, Independence Day Inc., has brought and sold over 1,500 properties in and about the San Antonio, Texas area since 1996. The company specializes in buying distressed properties with OPM and selling these properties with owner financing. So we'll get into that also because I know you had me on your podcast and we kind of dived into that a little bit. But let's talk about, he's also an author of 3 books that are a series, which is My Life in 1,000 Houses, Falling Forward to Financial Freedom, 200 Plus Ways to Find Bargain Properties, and The Art of Owner Financing. So those are 3 great books that you guys got to jump into. But let's start with this taxfreefuture.com. What was the why for that, Mitch?
Well, look, I've been a real estate investor, planning for a retirement or planning for a big financial future since, I don't know, I've been planning it since the day I woke up and realized you needed money to buy things. So, making money is one part of the equation. Making money is a very important part of the equation. You have to learn how to make money, but after you learn how to make, more than enough money, you got to learn how to keep it because there's a lot of ways to lose it. One of the biggest ways is through taxation. So there's ways to legally and ethically, save from paying taxes. You just have to know what the rules are, and you have to play by the rules, and you got to mitigate your tax situation. So that's one of the things the wealthy do is they study the tax law. They set up their companies and their lives so that they have minimal taxes. Anyone could do it. You don't have to be wealthy to do it. You just have to have the will and the desire, and then conform to how you have to do things, which is sometimes not comfortable, so that you don't have to pay tax or don't have to pay as much tax. So one of the things you can do is set up tax-deferred retirement plans like a solo 401k or a traditional or Roth IRA. You can also set up tax-deferred or tax-free health savings accounts to help with your deductibles or your stuff that your insurance doesn't cover. And you can also set up tax-deferred or tax-free educational accounts for your college or your kids' college, or anyone's college for that matter, or anyone's education. So I started taking advantage of those a long time ago, and it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, you're absolutely. It's especially the Coverdell accounts, the HSAs and all that. Really, you can really do some great things with that. Let's talk a little bit about your path to financial freedom. So you started a while ago at the age of 23. I know that, and we've had this conversation before, that you are market cycle tested. You actually went through the downturn and found some value, and you started to do some owner financing, and you still do a lot of that today. You also educate others, different strategies in real estate. So let's talk about your path to financial freedom, and what was your turning point?
Well, my turning point was, get tired of being broke and get tired of watching everyone else. I say everyone, watching people enjoy the good life and wondering, like, why not me? Why is that not me? And came to the conclusion that there's no reason why it can't be me enjoying, cruises or vacations or nice cars or whatever. And while it's not all about material things, in the beginning, that's kind of what drives you, some material stuff. Later on, you figure out that the more stuff, you don't really own all that stuff. That stuff owns you. And, if you don't believe me, just go get a boat and a jet ski and a camper trailer and an RV, and then watch where you spend your time. To spend your time in the shop all the time, fixing them or storing them or winterizing them or whatever, and they really do own you. And so, I don't know, I started out just wanting to have some of the finer things in life, and I think one of the reasons why I'm really successful is after I had the chance to get all that stuff and I tried some of it, I kind of cut back to a real normal lifestyle that allows me to let my money stack up. I don't spend everything I make. And I think that's kind of a golden rule to be successful. You've always got to be making more than you spend so that your savings account is always growing.
Absolutely. How the saying goes, a part of all I own is a part of all I earn is mine to keep. That's the 10%.
Yeah, I preach that all the time. I have a niece right now in Bryan's College Station. She just started her job. She got her master's, and I said the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a tax deferred account for you at taxfreefuture.com, and we're going to you're going to put 10% in, and the human body is the most adaptable thing in the world, and if you just take 10% right out of your check and put it away for your whole life, you'll be fine, and your body won't even miss that 10%. You know what I mean? It'll learn to live on 90%.
Yep, that's the golden rule. So I see now, as most successful people do, once they get to a certain level, or even before they get to that level, and like yourself, they give back by teaching others what they learn, and trying to teach them how to avoid the pitfalls and everything else. So I'm seeing you're doing a lot of education and a lot of mentoring. Let's get about that. Let's get into that. What strategies are you teaching your students these days? And the art of owner financing is really your specialty, where you are educating people on how to structure an owner finance deal and how to set that up. But what are some of these strategies around that you're teaching these days? And then why did you go to teaching? I mean, you could have just doing many deals and decided to teach.
That's a good question, because people think, well, if he's so successful, why does he have to travel around, or why does he want to teach people? I have a good answer for that. I think you'll find it a good answer. Number one is, I buy about 100 houses a year for the last 22, 23 years. The bio is a little old. I'm approaching 2,000 houses now that I've bought and sold in and about my hometown. And some of them, and I carry the note on all of these houses, so just because I sold them doesn't mean my income stream is over, because I sell my houses with seller financing on 30-year notes, fixed, no balloon. And so it took me a long time, but I finally figured out how to turn that job into a business. And so last year we bought 97 houses, and the year before that we bought right at 100, and the year before that we bought 103 houses, and it averages right around 100 houses a year. But I finally figured out how to make it into a real business, and I have not seen the last 300 houses I bought, and I have not seen the last 300 people that bought my houses. I haven't seen nor talked to them, nor read their application. And so I finally got it converted into a business. So then I got retired, right? Because this machine was doing these 100 houses, and it really doesn't need me. The only thing I really do is make sure that there's enough money to fund all the deals. If there's anything I do every day, is I just make sure that my company doesn't run out of money. And I do that by, talking to private lenders. I have $14 million in private money from 44 people. And that's what keeps my business alive and running. So suddenly I don't have anything to do. And so the honest answer is, a man relatively still young, you're still relatively young, halfway decent looking, way too much money and way too much idle time. I could get in a lot of trouble, couldn't I, Fuquan?
Absolutely.
I could get in a lot of trouble, and I decided pretty quick that I better find something to do that's constructive, because I don't want to pull my pants down and show everyone my hiney, but it's the truth, okay? Uh, 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 you know, a man needs to have a job, or he does, or at least be engaged, right? He needs to have some higher purpose than just doing whatever the hell he's going to do if he's left to his own devices. So I decided. I'd had a lot of people ask me if I would coach them, and I always told them no. And I didn't even know if I would be a good coach. I didn't know if that was, something I would be good at or not. I decided to try it about 5 years ago with a few people that I thought I could help. And then something happened. I changed those people's life, and it was such a tremendous experience for both of us, them and for me, that I kind of got addicted to that. And yes, I make decent money at it, but I'm not a millhouse. When I coach people, they have my phone number. You know what I mean? They're talking to me. I don't sub my coaching out to someone to some student of mine that did their first 20 deals last year. You're talking to me. So I can't do a lot of people. Maybe I one-on-one mentor via the phone and the internet. Maybe I mentor 15 people a year. Okay. And then I have a Tuesday night call, which is group coaching, which I can handle a whole lot more people. And maybe every Tuesday night there's, more or less the same 30 people out of 60. They don't all show up all the time. So there's always about 30 people out of 60 people that I'm doing in the group coaching. So I got a kick out of changing people's lives. And it's kind of an addiction, because you really get upset when you take on someone and it doesn't work out. At least I do. I don't like it when it doesn't work out. I don't like it when they don't better themselves. And so I've learned to kind of gate, since I can only take, so many people anyways. I've learned how to gate and only take the ones that I think I can really help, because that's part of the reward for me is knowing that I changed someone's life for the better, or I changed the family's life for the better,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. What is the profile of a perfect student? Like, what does a perfect student look like to you?
Well, look, on the group coaching, I'm not as hard on them, because the group coaching, my entrance qualifications aren't so hard, because on the group coaching, which is a Tuesday night call every 7 o'clock, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, it's $3,500 a year. And I don't know how I how I could talk to you once a week and not make you $3,500. But you have to get up off your butt and get off the sofa, and you have to take some action. Otherwise, I can't help you. But if you're really taking action, I don't know how. Let's say there's 52 weeks in a year. Let's say that I actually make the call 45 times. Like, I'm going to miss at least 7 weeks, because I have the right to get sick. I have the right to go on vacation. I have the right to one day just say, I don't feel like it today. I just don't feel good, or I'm not into it. But I will make that call 45 weeks out of the year. And if you only talk to me half those weeks, I don't know how I don't make you $3,500, because I got 22 years and 2,000 houses of experience, and believe me, I know a lot of things you hadn't even thought about yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not because I'm the most brilliant guy in the world, because I'm not. I was never the smartest guy in school. I just been doing the same thing for 22 years. The same thing. And every morning I get up, and guess who I talk to? I talk to people who are doing the same thing. All my friends buy houses. All my friends have radio shows and stuff like this, like you have. I talk about this stuff and learn about this stuff. Have you heard about the 10,000 hour rule?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I must have like 50,000 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I passed 10,000 hours a long time ago. The theory being, for those of y'all that don't know, who was it? I forget that author. I never can remember his name. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book, and he basically suggested that, to be the very, very best at something, you got to have 10,000 hours of application or practice. 10,000 hours separates someone who's pretty good. The expert has 10,000 hours. The guy who's pretty good or real good, they got less. But the guy that's top of his game has 10,000 hours. I must have, I don't know, 30, 40, 50,000 hours by now. I don't know, because I wake up in the morning and this is what I do, and I don't stop till I go to sleep practically every day.
Yeah. So do you find that a lot of people, when it comes to mentorship, I used to do masterminds and everything else, and every once in a while I'll do one when I find a time to add value to someone and try to bring them up. But the challenge you have is some people don't want to pay for the education. They want it for free. They want to call you and take up all your time, and they want you to hold their hand and walk them down the street and don't pay anything.
Well, this is a really good point, Fuquan. But I do want to address how I do gate my one-on-ones. But let me answer that question. You're going to pay one way or the other. You're going to pay the street, because it's going to kick your ass if you don't learn from someone who knows what they're doing in this business. This business is just sophisticated enough that if you walk out there and you don't know what you don't know, you're going to get your butt kicked. And that's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars. I can already count. I like to say, I was one of those guys, Fuquan. I did not want to pay the money. So I tried to learn on my own. And I can, right now, off the top of my head, recite you $800,000 I've lost because I didn't know what I know now. And someone could have told me about it before I did it if I'd have had a coach. So, you think you're saving money by not paying a mentor who's done what you want to do. Actually, you're probably going to pay more. And what's really sad is you may lose so bad early on that you'll quit the business forever and never see the fortune that you could have made. That was me. I almost got out of this business because I was getting my butt kicked. I had 25 rental houses. And if you read my book, Failing Forward to Financial Freedom, you'll get the whole story. But I had these 25 rent houses, and they were killing me. And the money that I was supposed to make on the bottom line never hit the bottom line. In fact, I was losing money. I was supposed to make $7,500 a month, and I was losing money every month because people didn't tell me the rest of the story. I only heard the get rich side, and I didn't hear the problem side. No one ever told me all the problems that could happen. And so I tried to get out, but I couldn't sell my houses in the neighborhoods where I bought them. No one could get a new loan. So I hired a guy with my last $10,000 in desperation to help me get out of the house business because it was kicking my ass. And he taught me how to stay in, and that was 24 years ago and millions and millions and millions of dollars ago that I've made. And so by accident, out of desperation, I hired the right guy. That was by accident too, probably, because I really didn't put him through any vetting process. All I knew was the guy owned 500 houses free and clear in my hometown. That's all I knew about him. And he showed me what I was doing wrong, and he showed me how to make adjustments. And I think within 12 months of that conversation, I was a multimillionaire.
Wow, that's an amazing story, man. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, so I do want to address that when I'm trying to take someone as one-on-one, I'm a lot stricter on who I let in, because I don't. First of all, I charge $15,000, which is really, really cheap for a one-on-one master guy. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of these people charge 25, 50, 30, and you don't even get to talk to them. You get to talk to their students. Somebody reading out of a manual. I'm $15,000. But I'm going to talk to you for about 45 minutes about everything under the sun that I want to know about you before I make up my mind if I'm going to take you or not. Because if I don't think you're going to make it, if I don't think you're ready, I'm just going to ask you to please start at the group coaching call on Tuesdays so we can see more about what your aptitude is for this, or about what how big is your drive. If I'm worried at all about it, I'll rather you just get in the $3,500 program than the $15,000 program. But if I choose you, it's because, I don't take newbies in the $15,000 program. I take people that have done 15, 20, 30 deals, and now they're trying to streamline, or something. I don't want to teach someone how to write a contract. If, you can do that someplace else, I'm trying to find someone who's already kind of proven that they will get their butt off the sofa, and they will go out there and they will act and they will take action. That's the biggest thing that I'm looking for. Second thing is I'm looking for integrity, because if I don't think you have any integrity, I'm not going to take you on, because a lot of the things that I know how to do, if it's put in the wrong hands, it could hurt a lot of people. So if I didn't think you're honest, I'm not going to do this either, because I could hurt a lot of people, Faquan. I could take $10,000 down payments and I could run off, and I could do all kinds of things. But I don't, and I don't want to teach someone who's not honest how to get in positions to do that. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean it's a definitely different types of strategies that one can use with owner financing and selling a house. So I mean, it's good that you have different tiers of mentorship, because there's people that are at that level where they've sold 10 to 15 houses and they stuck and they need help. And I'm sure you have a mentor or a life coach as well yourself, correct?
Well, ever since that one day that I accidentally changed my life by hiring that guy, I've had a coach ever since then, and that's how I learned. I paid $30,000 to be in a mastermind called Collective Genius.
Yep.
To try one last time to automate my house business before I quit, because I was burned out. I was fried. I was the house buyer. I was the house seller. I was the guy that raised the private money. I was the guy that placed the ads. I was the guy that set up the website. I was the guy that did everything. I did it all. And I made good money, but I was running myself ragged for 15 years, and I was about to collapse. And I tried to automate my system before by myself, and I failed 5 times before trying to get my business on autopilot. And so I said, this time I got to try one more time, because I was making over $1 million a year. And I'm thinking to myself, what a tragedy to lose $1 million a year business. I mean, certainly I could pay out $500,000 and hire the right people, and maybe not make $1 million because I have to pay these people, but I could at least make $500,000 and not throw the business away and not have to work. And so I set out to do that, and I paid $20,000 for my seat at Collective Genius, and then it's a quarterly meeting, so you got to fly to Florida every quarter or someplace, and then you got to get hotels and airline tickets. So by the time you're finished with that year, it costs you $30,000. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I got in a room where there was 40 people that had already automated their house buying and selling business. They had already done it. And I got up in front of the class and I told them what I was doing and where I wanted to go. And then those 40 people started helping me and telling me things. And then they got up and showed me how they did it. And then another guy got up and showed me how he did it, which was a little bit different than the other guy. And then another guy got up and said how he did it. And his was pretty much the same as the others, but it was a little different. And then I started to see all the different ways you could do it. And then I found the ways that were good for me. And then, bam, after a year of, first thing I had to do is I had to identify all the chairs that I needed in my office, all the desks and chairs. And then I had to identify who was supposed to sit at those desks and chairs. And then I had to train those people to do what I want them to do. That took me a year. But at the end of that year, I had a fully running automated business. And guess what?
Yeah.
I didn't go from making $1 million down to 500,000. I went from making $1 million to making $1.5 million. And you know why? Even after I had the overhead of these people, I made more money. And I figured out why. And it was exactly what they were telling me, but I didn't believe them in my heart. but now I believe them because it happened to me in real time. The reason why I make more money, even though I have to pay these people, is because they all focused on just one aspect of the business and they're great at it. I was focusing on every aspect and I was mediocre at best at all of them because I didn't have the time to be great at any one thing.
Yeah.
And so when these people were great at every task, this guy was a great house seller. This guy was a great house finder. This person was a great bookkeeper. This person was great social media. They did so much better than me in every chair that I ended up making more money instead of losing money.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's that's a really good group also, to be a part of other people that you can have as accountability partners, and there's more experience in the room, people that you can vibe off of and take it to the next level. So I have one last.
Oh, and you know what? Those people, those guys are still some of my closest friends right now. I mean, you really get close to these people when you go to these masterminds if you're in the right group. And I'm in one right now called Note Pro Mastermind with Eddie Speed, and it's a pretty small group of about 15 people. But the caliber of all the people in that room is killer, and it's a very affordable mastermind. I think right now it's still $12,000, and it's a quarterly thing that you meet in Dallas. Anybody wants to know about that, call me. 210-669-4020. You want to know about that mastermind? I'll tell you about it. And again, you're going to have to get vetted, but we can start the process if you want to be in that mastermind, because it is a wonderful group to be in. And I've learned stuff every time I go, even after 24 years. You know?
Yeah, that's the good thing about masterminds. You never know. I mean, that's the whole point of it, right? To put yourself around people who are doing deals, and you always come back, with the nugget. I have one last question for you, Mitch, and this is a question.
Well, the perfect situation is to get in a room where everyone's bigger than you.
Exactly. So my last question for the interview today is, and I ask all of the guests this question: why are you passionate for real estate investments?
Man, I've asked myself that question 1,000 times. It's not natural how passionate I am about it. I it's like I found my calling in life. People said, "Why did you choose real estate?" I said, "Well, I failed at everything else, and I tried everything, and nothing really worked for me. And for whatever reason, this worked for me. Not only did it change my life, but I'm changing the lives of my customers because I'm moving them from being renters into being homeowners, because I'm owner financing the houses for 30 years. That's my specialty. Not only am I changing those people's lives, but I change other people's lives around me in my offices, because everyone that works at my office, I'm helping them set up their retirement plans. I'm helping them understand how to grow their money and retire. And then I also help people when I teach them these strategies so that they can go on about their life without me and succeed after they learn, what I know. And it's just a win in every checkbox. I mean, there's a winner in every column. These people that I buy houses from, they desperately need to sell these houses. They don't know what to do with them. They're stuck sometimes with real problems, or they're going to lose their houses and get nothing. And luckily, I show up and I get them some money before they zero out. And there's just a win in every checkbox. And I like living a life where everyone around me benefits.
Absolutely. There you have it, Mitch Stevens. Another great episode of PFREI with Mitch Stephen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
I got to promote also the taxfreefuture.com. Make sure you guys go there. There's a lot of great information there. Mitch also have a podcast. Let's talk about, I plug that real quick, is the Real Estate Investors Summit. It's reinvestorsummit.com. Here's
the easiest way to do it, Fuquan. The easiest way is go to 1000houses.com and it's all there. You can get all my free stuff is there. The podcast is there. You can learn about that. You can learn about Tax-Free Future. I have a note servicing company if you're in Texas or Alabama or Georgia and you need your note service. But just go to 1000houses.com. You can learn all about everything I'm into and all the things that I think might help you. And there's a lot of free stuff there too. Just click on the free stuff tab. You can get the first 100 pages of my book there, or an hour and a half webinar on owner financing. There's all kinds of free stuff there. People say I give away too much. I think that you get back tenfold.
Absolutely. If it's free, it's for me. That's what I always say. All right, guys, like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @passion4REI. This is a great interview, Mitch. I really appreciate the time that you took out to come on the call with me and share some of your experience and knowledge with the group. Any parting words?
Man, just if it's your dream and your passion, just drill down on all the free stuff you can get. Find out what's right for you and your market, and then when you know exactly what it is you're going to do, then it's time to maybe hire that guy who's in the position that you wish you were in. But do a lot of soul searching and try a lot of strategies and get all the free stuff first. But when you're sure of what you want to do, that's the time to hire someone who's already done what you want to do.
Awesome,
and make sure that you research them. Make sure that you research them, and make sure that they're the kind of person that you want to be on and off the field, because you can't separate the two. They might be able to hide things for a while, but make sure you want to be them on and off the field, and that's your guy.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate you coming on the podcast today. Another great episode, and I appreciate it, man. Have a great day.